morning, Wazbags!
Dude. All right, welcome back to another School Principal Reacts. This is Brandon coming to you with another reaction to Victorious. We are getting into Season 3 now, which I did see that Season 3 has quite a lot of episodes. It will probably take us at least 6 months to go through them from this point. This is Season 3, Episode 2, and it's called The Breakfast Bunch. I believe many of you have mentioned this episode in the comments of other videos, so I don't really know what to expect. I try to learn as little as possible about the episode before watching it, but you all have mentioned it a couple times, but I don't really know what the Breakfast Bunch really is. I see in this random still frame, I just click on a random part of the episode for this, and I see Kat and Jade and Robbie there, and they appear to be holding some tacos. I don't know what they're doing. They appear to be in a library of some sort. No idea, but I guess when we get to this point in the episode, it'll all make sense. If you're enjoying this series, my reaction series to Victorious, and you're not a subscriber, take a look down below and find the subscribe button and click the subscribe button for me. I really, really appreciate it. And I think you will too, because you won't miss any of my future content, including this Victorious series, which will also appear on its own playlist in my playlist. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this episode. What is this? What is this? Starring Victoria Justice. Oh my goodness. This is like a show within a show, I guess. I'm not sure what we're doing here. Okay. Oh man. And these images of the little etching in the side of the chair and the notebook filled with drawings. Very, very true to life. And here comes Jade and Beck with their Jet Coffee. I mentioned on the last episode about Jet Coffee. It's kind of funny to me because there's a place here in Georgia, Jet Coffee, very, very well known. But let's keep going. Very different style here.
Well,
okay.
This is a great way to spend a Saturday.
I have never had detention before.
Detention, Saturday detention. Very interesting. So that's the whole Breakfast Bunch. I'm guessing they have Saturday morning detention. That is a real thing in some places. I've mentioned before in other videos that detention, a lot of places don't have detention now for a bunch of different reasons. It's just really hard to put together, and it's hard to get students to show up, honestly. And you may be thinking, well, they did something wrong, and so they have to show up. But it's like, oh, well, I can't get there, and there's no bus, and my mom can't bring me, or my grandparents' car is messed up. And most schools just don't want to have to deal with that type of issue. They're going to move straight to parent conferences or in-school suspension or things of that nature. Now, what's interesting to me is the only school I worked at in my career that really did a lot of detention was the art school. If you happen to be new here, I am an administrator from the U.S. state of Georgia, but I was once also an assistant principal at an art school, almost exactly like Hollywood Arts. It's really kind of scary. And that school is the only school that I have worked at that had both detention and they had Saturday school, which was basically a little bit longer detention that took place on Saturday. And they would typically fix up the school or have students just work on their assignments. But here they are on Saturday. That's so funny because I do remember having that at the art school. Let's keep going.
You hadn't made us late for class, we wouldn't be here.
Late for class.
I was choking on a pretzel.
Hey, who's in charge of detention anyway?
Vice principal.
Dickers.
Okay. They've not introduced him. Vice Principal Dickers. Okay, very interesting. And back when I was at the art school as an assistant principal, different parts of the country call it different things, by the way, usually either assistant principal or vice principal. Here where I live, it's always assistant principal, but I know what it means, of course. It's the same thing. But typically you would have just a teacher, honestly, do detention or even Saturday school. There would just be a teacher who would be assigned to that. And you don't necessarily have to have an administrator there. But apparently now they are. And they mentioned that Robbie being late is part of what caused this. And that does sound right. Maybe after a certain number of tardies, we call them. It's typically for something that's fairly low level, especially detention or Saturday school. I would call this Saturday school or Saturday detention, typically for something low level. Oftentimes in other videos, I'll say, well, this isn't a potential suspension, but it's some lower form of discipline like in-school suspension, ISS, or something like this, just a simple detention.
Morning, Wazbags!
Dude. I unpause it, and within a second, you get a potential firing. This is a potential firing. Wazbags, you cannot call the students' names. I've said many times before, educators have a high standard for professional behavior, especially when interacting with students, even outside of school, honestly. At restaurants and stores, you can't just say anything to a student, and you certainly can't walk up to them and say this. This is definitely a potential firing for Vice Principal Dickers. His first 5 seconds on screen, as far as I'm concerned, and he already got a potential firing. Is this going to be like Vice Principal Krubs? I wonder. Let's see.
Detention is that way.
No.
In the library. Get ready for the worst day of your life.
No, man. This guy, man, this is not good. Okay, so you can't talk to students that way, even students that did something wrong in order to land themselves in detention. There's no reason to speak to them this way. You would just walk up and say, hey, good morning, detention is up the stairs, please go to the library now. And they have to obey you. You don't have to yell and scream. I rather think by yelling and screaming, you're actually kind of tarnishing whatever authority you had and whatever credibility you had. You're actually making yourself less effective by yelling and screaming. All you have to do is say, hey, good morning, go ahead and go up the stairs and go up to detention in the library. You don't have to scream it. Cat.
We're at school on a Saturday.
Oh boy.
Library!
Yeah, I heard Andre say, you don't got to yell at me. Yeah, you really don't. And he may end up racking up some potential firings here.
Well, it's 7:06 a.m. here in Los Angeles. That means in Australia, it's yesterday.
You know, in Australia, when you flush the toilet, the water swirls backwards.
Put a sock in it, Afro!
Okay, that's another potential firing. I'm sorry. You cannot talk to students that way. You cannot call them names. It's just too far. I can't abide it, and that's a second potential firing. Quick side note, detention happens in a variety of places. It's typically a classroom. I have seen it done in maybe a little library setting like this. If nobody's there, especially on Saturday, you might have it in the library. We, at the art school that I worked at, we just had like one person's classroom that was used for classes. It wasn't just a detention room. A lot of times in TV and movies, I'll see a room that says detention on it. Really don't have that anymore. If that did exist, like back in the 80s and 90s maybe, or prior to that, it doesn't exist anymore. We just use a random classroom, whatever is available, and the kids sit in there and basically do nothing, or some places will allow them to like do their schoolwork in detention, but basically you just sit there.
You clowns are gonna sit here all day and think about why you're in detention.
Okay, and I'll give them a little bit of slack on that. Clowns, I mean, I've heard gym coaches and gym teachers say that. It's not good to call students names. That may be allowed to let slide if it's just that, but he should not be like yelling and pointing at them. There's really no need. Now, are they going to cut up? Now, if they're going to cut up, then, I mean, we may have an issue here, but you still don't yell at the kids.
Now, cell phones, let's have them.
Okay.
Why?
Because in detention, there are no phone calls.
Oh, okay. I mean, I've heard of that before.
What about texting?
No.
Email?
No.
Email. He hasn't really given them any instructions yet, like what they are supposed to do. Some detentions have the students literally just sit there and stare straight ahead, but that's not really productive. And a lot of kids simply don't have the capacity to do that, even if they wanted to. That's why a lot of schools will at least give the kids a little assignment or just tell them to work on the schoolwork that they already have. That makes a lot more sense.
I can't get past level 23.
Sip it, corn pie.
Can we have corn pie?
Shut up.
Okay. Dude, that is a third potential suspension. I was gonna almost say it at the whole comment corn pie, which I've never heard anybody called that. I don't know if you have, but yelling at Jade to shut up and pointing at her that close, that's a third potential firing. We're up to 3, and we're not even 5 or 10 minutes in. I don't know how long we're in, actually, but it doesn't seem like a long time.
Phones!
Okay. Pair phones.
I'm gonna put your box of phones right here. What, princess?
I was just wondering what the plan is for lunch.
Well, if you preterds get hungry...
Number 4, potential firing. You cannot call students names. And you might be thinking, well, just give them one for everything. No, I really just can't. I was gonna try and hold off when he called Tori princess. That was almost one, but you cannot call students names like that. Any one of these by itself could get him fired. So no, this is number 4, potential firing. Let's keep going.
There's a big plate of tuna right here.
What? No. What in the world? Although, that doesn't look that bad, honestly. I would probably eat it if I knew that it had been properly made and maybe was just unwrapped just now. It looks like something you would get from a decent restaurant or a deli or something, but I get this is not supposed to be terribly appetizing.
Technically, sir, if perishable foods aren't kept at either below 34 degrees or above 140 degrees,
Pipe down, side salad.
That's almost number 5 here. That's why I mentioned a minute ago, if I knew that he just literally took this out of the refrigerator and unwrapped it out of, plastic or whatever, then yeah, okay.
Eat the tuna or starve. I could care less.
And a couple of things. First off, that's going to be potential firing number 5 for more light name calling and saying eat the tuna or starve. I could care less. And secondly, it's I couldn't care less. I heard another YouTuber talk about this because if you say you could care less, that means you do actually care to a degree. He means that he couldn't care less because he cares the minimum amount that you can possibly care, which is 0. I think that's what he meant.
I think you mean you couldn't care less.
That's what I just said.
You said you could care less.
Which implies that you do care.
Yeah, okay. I didn't know they were going to say this. That's literally what I just said.
Or at least a little bit.
I don't.
Well, then you should have said you couldn't care less.
but you did not.
All right, not another word.
Okay.
Word.
That's
Jade, you need to watch it. And I've seen students do this that will be in either detention or ISS and will try and get smart like that and start acting out. And what happens is you end up not being able to complete your consequence, so to speak. If a kid gets sent to Saturday school or detention or whatever and acts up while they're there, they can be given some sort of other consequence like in-school suspension, which is basically detention during the day for an entire day, or some schools do part of the day. You can do that, or getting suspended. I mean, if she behaves badly enough, they can go there if they want to.
it, West. You just bought yourself another Saturday detention.
Yeah, I have seen that happen before. I've doled that out before, in fact, in real life. If someone either acts out during detention or more commonly doesn't show up for the detention, they can be given an additional day or whatever.
Did I get a good deal on it?
You just bought yourself another one.
And see, with this, you can only go so far. I mean, you can do that a couple of times, but if the student really doesn't care, then you have to call their parents and really get more serious about whatever the consequence is going to be. But crucially, communicate with the parents and say, okay, this is what your daughter said. This is what she's doing. Let's talk about that and how can we get to the bottom of it without going to more harsh consequences like ISS or suspensions.
Look, I'm sorry. I apologize.
That's 3. 3 Saturdays.
You can't give it to her for apologizing. That's not a potential firing, but she was apologizing there. That's not appropriate to give her even more.
But she was apologizing.
Okay, Vega, now you got one.
Dude.
Why?
Boom, another one.
I don't want another one.
That's 3. You want to...
Okay. Now this I'm going to say is another potential firing because he's not necessarily calling them names, but you have to go by the school handbook. You can't just dole out consequences willy-nilly like this. You really have to be able to be backed up by the handbook. And he is not going to be able to say that she was being disrespectful or whatever. She's literally just talking to him, or in Jade's case, apologizing. And doing that once, I mean, that wouldn't get him fired. But if he's doing this over and over again for really what I consider to be no reason, that's a potential firing. You can't do that.
Try for 4?
I really don't.
That's 4. You want 5?
Yes.
Okay, Vega, you just got 5.
And see, this is what happens. The students get to where they no longer care and it's no longer effective. The purpose of discipline is to correct behavior, not to punish people or to yell at them or whatever. It's to correct behavior. If what you're doing is no longer correcting behavior and they don't care, then it's not effective.
I guess he's afraid to give one to Robbie.
Oh, yeah? I got one for you too, fudge sack.
That's another potential firing. I don't know what we're at. I think we're on 7, maybe. I'm not sure. I'm sure the correct number is here on the screen. You cannot call students names like this. That by itself could get them fired. I mean, it could.
Anybody else? Huh? Anybody?
Okay. Where's he going? Where's he going? Yeah, and you don't leave the room. That could get him fired too. That's another potential firing, just like I said in iCarly, actually, in the detention episode of iCarly. Check it out if you haven't seen it. It's in the same universe as Victorious is. Mr. Howard, as I recall, goes to watch the Geometry channel. You cannot do that. You basically have to sit in the room the whole entire time and just sit there with the students. It's not too exciting for the teacher or administrator either if there's a detention. You just sit there with the students until time is up. You don't leave the room for any reason whatsoever. And I have seen kids do stuff like this. It's really not a good idea to make them just sit there and stare at the wall, basically, in silence, which he's not even in there, Mr. Dickers or whatever his name was. So I don't know how he's controlling this environment here, but I have seen kids do this. It's much more effective to either allow them to do their classwork that they already have or to give them some sort of assignment to complete as a condition of completing their detention. Oh man, that kind of freaks me out, what Kat was doing. The reason being is because I'm not real fond of glitter. Some people will give me cards around holidays and stuff, and I always appreciate it. But if there's any glitter on that card, I treat it with great care, because once you get glitter on yourself, it's tough to get it off, no matter how hard you work at it. You'll hours later see a stray piece of glitter on yourself that you didn't quite get. So that's kind of crazy. Okay, it's after 12 o'clock, and they got there at 7, I think that was. Typically, Saturday school is not all day. I've never heard of a full-day Saturday school. It's typically from the morning. It does start in the morning, maybe 8 to 12, 7 to 11, 8 to 11, somewhere in that neighborhood. It's not all day because typically schools are not equipped to feed them lunch on Saturday, so they have them come in the morning and release them by lunchtime.
You know what I could go for right now?
Tacos?
How'd you know?
I felt you, dog.
Our pristine little friend Kat has never had a taco. Are you a vegan?
Leave her alone.
What are you gonna do if I don't?
Oh, I might just go online to the Slap and unfriend you.
That's her big threat. That's kind of funny.
2 clicks. 1 to unfriend you, and 1 to confirm that I really want to unfriend.
What is this? What is this? It is pretty funny, but it's kind of ridiculous at the same time.
Hey, come on, y'all. How we gonna get some tacos?
I could call Trina, ask her to pick some up and leave them in my locker.
Okay, so he's doing it. How did they get Trina to do this? This does not seem like something Trina would do to help them out, so they must have offered her something. There are the tacos. Yeah, you see him just walking around whistling. Like, if you've got kids in the building, you're supervising them, no matter what it is, even if it wasn't detention, but especially for something like Saturday school or detention, you're in that room the whole time. You're not walking around whistling or whatever. That's sort of ridiculous. Okay. I don't know what he's doing. And what's to stop them from just leaving? I mean, just leaving and not coming back. He's not there to stop them. There's the tacos. And I assume they make it back with the tacos because I remember seeing them in the random still frame from the beginning of the video. Taco Guapo.
You can't run across that. It's too dangerous.
Way to go, Tori.
I mean, they just skipped out on detention to get tacos. I wouldn't think they would care all that much about a wet floor sign.
We're dead.
Dead. We're dead. This whole episode, like the style of it is funnier than usual because it's so like over exaggerated. Everything. It's pretty funny.
No, just me. I'm gonna get Dicker's attention.
How?
Here I am! Once again! Gonna make a bit of in my victory! I will make it!
And she runs right into him. And I hate to say it, but this would probably in real life be a potential suspension for Tori. Now, I mentioned earlier that you can get additional days of detention if you misbehave during the detention, or they can kind of up it to ISS or suspension. I mean, running around screaming, ripping stuff off the walls, that is almost suspension territory. Would she get it automatically? No, but she could. She could be suspended for this, so that's a potential suspension for her. Uh-oh.
Oh.
Listen.
Ah, you're in big trouble, Vega.
I mean, yeah, she would be in big trouble, and I'm just impressed that this guy hasn't called her any names yet and gotten any more potential firings. But yeah, I mean, in real life, she would be in trouble for this, for sure.
For what?
For leaving the library, skinny jeans.
He's got to watch it. I won't give him a firing for that, but he's got to watch it.
And sing it off, Key. Come on.
Nah, you don't do that. That's a potential firing. You can't grab her like that. Now, all he has to say is, you come with me back to my office or back to the detention room and let's talk about this or let's call your parents. He can't grab her like that. Now, there are times when you are authorized to do stuff like that, but it would have to be if somebody's actively being harmed to make that kind of contact. You don't do that for something like this, and this is another potential firing. I don't know what we're up to. I'm sure the number's here on the screen.
Running and singing at the same time. That's really hard.
Oh, shut up.
We're just going to wrap the whole shut up thing right into that previous potential firing. What?
That's the last time, Vega.
This is the last time you need to be working at a school, buddy. Bringing her into the custodial closet or janitor's closet, that's a potential firing. There's no reason to meet with her in there. You would need to debrief with her and probably call her parents. If it were me in real life, we would go probably to the main office and just call her parents and arrange for them to come pick her up and maybe have a little meeting at that time and decide what her consequence is going to be. Taking her by the wrist and practically dragging her to the custodial closet, totally inappropriate, and that's yet another potential firing. This might be a record here on the show. Let's keep going.
I'm sorry.
You watch that mouth. You know where you're going to be 5 years from now? You're going to be a big pop star.
Okay.
That sounds pretty cool.
Okay, Miss Pop Star, see if you can pop this.
I hope it's pretty obvious you can't do this. This is totally inappropriate. He could probably be arrested for something like that. I'm going to loop this into the potential firing that I just gave him, but this is more like, okay, cruelty to children kind of territory, which is a charge that he could possibly get for doing something like this. Again, not an attorney. I always say that, but I think so. Let's keep going. Okay. That's another potential firing. Locking her in there? You cannot do that. Dude, you cannot do that. Just ask her to come to the office and you call her parents. Okay? That's all you have to do. Okay. That kind of reminds me of Ned's Declassified, of Gordy's little office that he had. No.
What'd I miss?
Like, why would that exist, right? Why would that exist? It wouldn't. Actually, come to think of it, at the art school, I do recall it did have a few different levels to the building, and on the top level, there was a hatch. I just remembered when I saw that ladder she climbed up, there was a hatch that went to the roof. I did have to go up there one time in a bit of an emergency. I won't go into it, but I do remember vividly crawling up that ladder and through that filthy hatch up onto the roof. That brought back a memory, and it was at the art school also, oddly enough. Let's keep going.
Why aren't you eating your taco, Robbie? Maybe we have another vegan among us.
I'm not a vegan.
And I'm kind of confused by this. This is just sort of weird here with the whole vegan and not eating the taco thing.
Oh, man. It's taco. It's got me pumped.
What is going on? What is going on in this episode? This is a crazy episode.
I think he's gonna run dance. Oh, yeah!
Run dance? What is going on? What is going on? This is off the rails. This sort of reminds me of the Ned's Declassified Halloween episode. The reason being is it just went completely off the rails and was totally kind of insane, and then the next episode after that, or two after that, it was totally normal again. I'm wondering if that's what this is going to be. And technically, it's like a show within a show. It tried to make it seem like it wasn't Victorious. I don't think they even had the regular Victorious intro. It was the Breakfast Bunch. We're not in Victorious, we're in the Breakfast Bunch, and that's why everything is so crazy. What? What is happening in this episode? I can see why you guys mentioned it in the comments. Are we in somebody's imagination right now? What is going on? I'm not even sure what reality is at this point. Let's keep watching. 1 o'clock. What? Okay. Totally unsupervised. I do not understand this, why shows do this. You cannot have students in the school unsupervised really at any point, but particularly detention makes less sense. Think about it. Everybody in detention usually did something wrong basically to get there, and that's the exact group of people you're just leaving by themselves, not being watched at all. The people that, violated the rules in some way, and you're just going to leave them to their own devices. Doesn't make sense, does it? Are they done?
See you next Saturday.
What? Yeah, that's right, because they got a few Saturdays added on here. I don't know what this panda is doing with the balloon. That's sort of crazy. I guess they're done, and I guess they got let out at 3 p.m., 4 p.m., something like that. I mentioned before, Saturday school is a real thing, but it's not all day. I've never heard of it being all day. It's usually half a day, basically. And I guess what they're trying to show is they had this whole bonding experience, the Breakfast Bunch, basically. They had this whole time where they got to know each other better or whatever, but it was totally, like, off the wall crazy, like beyond crazy. It was sort of insane. Oh, boy.
Dear Mr. Dickers, goodbye from all of us. A puppet.
A future pop star?
A musician.
Okay.
An actor.
A nerd with temporarily straight hair.
A girl who likes scissors?
And me!
What in the world? He left him a note, okay. I've never seen that done, but okay.
It's Cat, bye!
Sincerely, the Breakfast Bunch.
The Breakfast Bunch.
Even though we never had breakfast as a bunch.
Oh no, come back!
So weird. So weird. The vibe of this episode has been so different than any other episode I've ever seen. And normally they wouldn't just leave. I mean, he would need to dismiss them, but at the proper time, of course. All right, well, that's the episode. I don't know what to think. I was just thinking, like, what am I going to rate it if I rated it? And, for certain things, I would rate it really high. Certainly entertainment value. Realism, not really. It was just totally crazy antics. And yes, I know I did cut some of the antics out. I will always have to cut at least certain parts of the episode, but this one was just totally off the wall crazy, but I see now why you guys kept mentioning it. I would probably rate it all in all maybe an 8.5 out of 10. It was pretty funny. It really was. And Detention and Saturday Detention are real things, but nowhere near what happens here. And I don't know how many potential firings Mr. Dickers got. I think that was his name, the vice principal, but I'm sure the credit correct number is here on the screen. He's going to give Krubs a run for his money if he's in any more episodes. But I'm going to end the video here. Hopefully you all enjoyed the reaction. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave the page. Click the subscribe button down below in order to subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. But I'm going to end the video here, and I'll see you on my next one here on School Principal Reacts. Thanks for watching.